PPE, or personal protective equipment, is the protective clothing that is worn by employees to protect them from arc flash thermal hazards and shock hazards. PPE should be considered, however, the last line of defense when it comes to electrical hazards. PPE designed to protect against arc flash hazards is called arc-rated or AR clothing. AR clothing has been tested against exposure to an electric arc, and its AR rating, which is expressed as a number, it represents the amount of incident energy the clothing can block or absorb. Note that older PPE may be marked as flame resistant or FR, and you may have heard that term quite often. It's not the same. All arc-rated equipment is also flame resistant, but not all flame resistant equipment is also arc-rated. So in order to determine the appropriate PPE for the existing hazards, the incident energy of the equipment must be determined, or the tables provided in FPA must be used. In addition, in an incident energy calculation, the engineer who performs a short circuit study usually performs what's known as a coordination study, and then he'll perform the arc flash study in order to determine very accurately the incident energy at every piece of available electrical equipment. Using the tables is actually less accurate, but generally quite conservative. Each piece of equipment is found on a set of tables in the standard. The tables assign one of 4 categories to the equipment, with each category requiring a specific set of PPE and having a minimum arc rating for the clothing to be worn. As previously mentioned, when work is required while equipment is energized, then it must be performed by a qualified individual using appropriate, safe work procedures, as well as appropriate PPE for both shock and arc flash protection. Many fabrics, including non-arc rated cotton, polyester cotton blends, nylon, silk, wool fabrics, they're all flammable. Right? They can ignite and continue to burn, resulting in more serious injuries. Furthermore, synthetic materials that melt at a temperature below 600 degrees Fahrenheit, such as nylon, polyester, polypropylene, and spandex, these can melt from an arc flash exposure and melt into the skin, aggravating the burn injury. These types of fabrics are not permitted to be worn within the arc flash boundary, except in fiber blends that are arc rated. Arc rating is a value attributed to materials that describes their performance to an exposure to an electrical arc flash occurrence. The arc rating is expressed in calories per centimeter squared, and it's actually derived from the determined value of the arc thermal performance value, or the ATPV, or energy of the break open threshold, EBT. Should a material system exhibit a break open response below the APTV value. Arc rating is reported as either ATPV or EBT, whichever is the lower value. Arc rated clothing or equipment indicates that it's been tested for exposure to an electric arc. FR clothing or flame resistant clothing without an arc rating has not been tested for exposure to an electric arc. All arc rated clothing is also flame resistant, but not all flame resistant is also arc rated. Break open is the material response evidenced by the formation of one or more holes in the innermost layer of arc-rated material that would allow flame to pass through the material. ATPV is defined in ASTM standard test method for determining the arc rating of materials for clothing as the incident energy on a material or a multi-layer system of materials that results in a 50% probability that sufficient heat transfer through the tested specimen is predicted to cause the onset of a second-degree skin burn injury based on the Stoll curve. Break open is defined as a hole with an area of 1.6 square centimeters or 0.5 square inches, or an opening of 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch in any dimension.